Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is iGoRawr and welcome to Let's Auraxium, and today we're going to be looking at the Serpent, the Vanu Sovereignty's highest rate of fire shotgun. Carbine. It's a carbine. Available to the light assault and engineer, the weapon has found its way into my heart as being the only SMG in Vanu's arsenal that I actually like. Carbine! It's a carbine. The Serpent is a shotgun. SMG. Fuck it! Let's just look at the stats. Starting off with a fire rate of 845 rounds a minute and a damage model of 143 damage up to 10 meters, dropping off to 100 damage at 60 meters, we have the fastest killing infantry weapon available to the VS if you don't count one-shot weapons like sniper rifles and shotguns. Next is the reload speed of 2.6 seconds for a short reload and 2.9 seconds for a long reload. This is without a doubt one of the biggest drawbacks of the weapon. It also has a magazine size of 30 rounds, and coupled with its fire rate of 845 rounds a minute, you'll be unloading this thing faster than me on prom night. Which is sad because I didn't have a date for prom. And finally, it has a velocity of 420 meters a second. Now, there's nothing really more to say about this weapon other than it's a frickin' bullet hose. Spray and pray. So pick whatever sights you like, although they're usually not going to matter. Soft point ammunition is a must, the laser sight, and if you feel like the situation is right, a suppressor is totally viable. It is also worth mentioning that the hip fire on this weapon is like a Swedish virgin. She's getting tight. Oh my god. Oh, that was a bad joke. That is so not making it into the final cut. So that brings us to our final question. Is this gun worth your time? And the answer is yes. It's worth owning, it's worth Auraxiuming, but I don't care for it. It's sort of like my ex that enjoyed sucking on my toes. I can get why people get off on it, but it's just not for me. When I set out to Auraxium a gun, I usually write down my issues with the weapon, the pros and the cons, and try to make the end of the video about that. But after looking over all the issues I had with the weapon, I found that a lot of what I disliked about the weapon were things that other people would have enjoyed. The weapon is good at hip firing. I'm the weirdo that likes to aim down sights with a shotgun. The recoil limits you to body shots about 80% of the time. I usually like to shoot for the head up close. I like weapons that are specialized to a role, but the 845 fire rate of the weapon seems like a bit overkill for my taste. The list goes on and on, but the point stays the same. The Serpent is just not for me. But if you like the Serpent, don't be afraid to come out and say it. In fact, I have a friend who likes the Serpent. I knew him since he was a kid, and I saw him struggle all his life with the fact that he likes Serpent. He actually came to me first about the fact that he liked the Serpent, and I did what any good friend would do. Just accepted the fact that he was into Serpent. And I think you should all do the same. Stand up for Serpent lover rights. So gay jokes aside, I do have some real criticisms about the weapon, the first of which is its magazine size and reload speed. Now, I don't want to sound like an elitist prick, but I am the kind of player that can burst into a room and mow down 2, 3, 4 guys in a row, especially if I have a good flank. But with its slow reload, tendency to miss a fair bit, and the fact that it's really easy to put more shots than you need into one target, you're gonna find that getting more than 2 kills per reload is a bit tricky. I also made the joke earlier that I kept confusing the weapon for a shotgun and an SMG, and you know what? That really isn't a joke. It does handle like the ashamed love child of the Sirius and the Thanatos. Normally with some good aim you can push weapons outside of their intended ranges, but not with the Serpent. With its high damage drop-off and low velocity alone, this is hard to pull off, but the real kicker here is the recoil pattern. With a vertical recoil pattern that's about middle of the road for VS carbines, the highest horizontal recoil values that is also partly randomized, and the second sharpest angle for horizontal recoil that, yet again, is also partly randomized, and a massive 3 times first shot recoil multiplier even with a forward grip, the ranges with this weapon are very limited. All of which is compounded by the fact that it has an extremely high rate of fire. Yes, it's totally plausible to kill targets from long ranges with this weapon, but what good is a high rate of fire weapon if you have to let off the trigger to hold it steady, or if you just friggin' miss? There are two things I do like about the weapon though. First of which is that in one-on-one engagements, this is actually a very strong weapon. I feel like it performs a lot better in smaller fights because it can't really handle more than 2 or 3 people at a time, even with a good flank. In smaller fights, you'll find yourself being a light assault with this weapon is far more effective than if you were in a bigger fight. The other thing I like about the weapon is more of a feature of hipfire in general, but like I said before, I'm more of an ADS player. But if you hipfire with the weapon and strafe side to side, it equates to what is a 1.0 speed multiplier rather than the 0.5 ADS speed multiplier of the weapon. Yet again, this is a feature that will serve you better in small fights and one-on-one engagements. But in short, the Serpent. The Serpent is a good weapon, but I don't care for it. And yes, it's gonna make me sound like an elitist prick, but I feel like it's a weapon that, as a player, you're going to outgrow in terms of skill. But you know what? If you enjoy it, or think you might enjoy it, it's definitely worth the certs, but for me personally, I don't care for it. Anyways, guys, that's it for this time. My name's iGoRawr, and I'll see you guys next time.
I almost got killed. Oh, there's 3. Wow. I lived and I landed underneath the bridge. Where the heck are you? Where the heck are you?
Look where I landed!
What kind of pit is that?
I don't know!
I just saw the map kept going down and down and down. I like went through the world for a second there.
I came so close to falling down the pit. I don't know how I lived. I was gonna try to fly through there thinking, oh, maybe I'll make some of them crash.
Oh my god.
We both lived. Oh, that's great.
You just kept going down. I got so confused because you were dead.